Hey guys, Max here, and welcome back to Buyer's Guide, the series where I'll give you advice on what Apple products to buy and what Apple products not to buy. There are also chapters below if you want to skip around to the device you need help deciding on, and let's get into it. Now, we've just gotten out of Apple's busy fall season where we've gotten updates to their iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple Watch, and AirPods lines. So let's kick it off with iPhone, starting with iPhone SE. The iPhone SE is the most affordable iPhone made by Apple right now, starting at $399 in the US. The SE came out almost 2 years ago now, in April 2020, and while we don't know for sure when the next iPhone SE is coming out, like we do with the flagship iPhone line for example, it's still a safe and great buy, though the next version may bring a new design, which will bring it up to speed with Apple's current design aesthetic. The iPhone 11 was released in September 2019, and Apple does still sell this phone for $499 on their site, which honestly is a steal, and I'm sure you can get it for even cheaper from other retailers. This is a really good phone, so if you're looking in the budget range, this is certainly one to consider because of the feature set and the price being dropped after the iPhone 12 launch and yet again after the iPhone 13 launch. The iPhone 12 and 12 mini came out in October 2020 and just recently had the price dropped after the iPhone 13 launch, so the 12 mini starts at only $599. These are definitely still great phones, and they're for sure worth the price if you're looking in that price range and you'd be interested in buying one of last year's phones for the lower price. The iPhone 13 lineup came out in September 2021, and the next update is expected that time next year, so we're still roughly 10 months away from the release of the next flagship iPhone line. So these iPhone 13 models are still definitely safe buys as they're newly released with improved cameras, battery life, and displays, and I can certainly recommend this iPhone lineup to anyone looking for a new iPhone. Moving on to the iPad line, starting with Apple's most affordable iPad, the iPad. This model was last updated in September 2021 with a new chip inside and an upgraded camera starting at the same $329 price tag, so if you're looking for the most affordable iPad you can get, this is the one. It still uses Apple's older home button design, and I can't see that changing too soon, but if you don't care about that, then this is a solid deal. Next up is the smallest iPad Apple makes, the iPad mini. The iPad mini was last updated in September 2021 with a brand new design, no home button, Touch ID, an A15 Bionic chip, and more, starting at $499 for 64 gigabytes. This iPad mini has gotten great reviews and is a great iPad, so if you can justify spending $499 for a 64GB iPad mini or $649 for the 256GB model, then this is definitely a good buy as it isn't likely to be updated for another year or two. Next is the iPad Air, which was last updated in September 2020, starting at $599. The next update to this model could be coming as soon as spring 2022, which is around 4 months away right now, so right now is a fine time to buy the iPad Air since the next model may not bring huge upgrades that could be a reason to wait. Next up is Apple's top-of-the-line iPad, the iPad Pro. This device comes in 11-inch and 12.9-inch sizes, starting at $799, and it was last updated in April 2020 at Apple's Spring Loaded event. And if the last few years of updates to this device tell us anything, we should expect an update to this iPad in spring 2022. If you can wait for the next version, then I'd say you should wait because this could be a larger upgrade, but if you do need one now, your current iPad is on its last legs, then it's a great device, and you'll be more than happy with it. Moving on to the Mac line, starting with Apple's most affordable Mac, the M1 Mac Mini. This device was released in November 2020, and Bloomberg's Mark Gurman said about 3 months ago that the next update is coming in the next several months, so that could be as soon as very early next year, but usually Apple releases products in the September and October period and the March or April period, so that doesn't really leave any more opportunities this year for a release, and the next opportunity could be in the spring. So it might be that, but they might also surprise us and release it in January or February next year. Hard to know right now, but if you can wait, certainly wait because that will be a big upgrade. Next is the M1 MacBook Air. This MacBook Air was released in November 2020 starting at $999, and the next update is expected between spring 2022 and mid-2022 with a whole redesign, new chip, so if you're eyeing upgrading an older Mac but could hold out a little longer, it'll definitely be worth it. Next up is the 13-inch M1 MacBook Pro. This MacBook was released in November 2020 starting at $1299, and this has a small edge over the M1 MacBook Air with slightly better performance with better thermals, better battery life, and touch bar, but that doesn't exactly make it worth the extra $300 versus the MacBook Air, so that's something to keep in mind if you're deciding between the Air and the Pro. Moving on to the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros, which was recently updated by Apple in October 2021, starting at $1999 with a new design, more ports, and better performance with the M1 Pro and M1 Max chips. They're expensive, but definitely worth the money with pretty fantastic value. If you're deciding between the M1 MacBook Air and M1 MacBook Pro, this may also be an option to consider since the release of these has rendered the 13-inch MacBook Pro kind of irrelevant. Sorry, 13-inch. Next is the iMac 24-inch, which was released in April 2021, and there isn't an update rumored to be coming soon, so this is a safe buy right now, and I can say from personal experience that it's a fantastic device. Next is the Mac Pro, which originally launched in June 2019, and the next update may be launching next year with Apple Silicon, but this is a safe buy right now as the Mac Pro is a super specialty Mac that will last for a while. Moving on to the Apple Watch, starting with the Apple Watch Series 3, which was launched in September 2017 and is a pretty outdated watch, so you want to get one of the Apple Watch SEs or any of the other models released after the Series 3, as those have Apple's latest edge-to-edge display design. Next up is the Apple Watch SE, which was released in September 2020, and the next update is likely not coming anytime soon, if ever. This watch has great value after the Apple Watch Series 7 launch, and it's still a great watch even in 2021. The Apple Watch Series 7 was released in October 2021, and the next update will be coming sometime in the fall next year, so right now this is a safe buy since it's newly released, and it's a great watch. Moving on to a kind of miscellaneous category, starting with the AirTag, which was released in April 2021, and the next update isn't coming anytime soon, probably. It's a great product and a safe buy right now. Next up is the HomePod Mini, which was launched in October 2020, but just recently got some new color options with an orange, yellow, and blue, but it probably won't be updated for a while. So this is definitely a safe buy right now, and I love mine. Moving on to the AirPods 2, which were released in March 2019, and these are definitely not a good buy right now since the AirPods 3 just came out with a whole redesign, new case, better sound quality, and the whole deal. Speaking of AirPods 3, next up is the AirPods 3. These are newly released by Apple with great sound quality, great fit in the ear, and convenience with the case, and I've been using them for a few weeks now, and I can definitely recommend these. Also, the perfect gift for the holidays for anyone in the Apple ecosystem. AirPods Pro-wise, these were released in October 2019, and the next update is rumored to be well into next year, so AirPods Pro are a safe buy right now, and they're great headphones. You can find them for a lot cheaper than their original $249 price tag with sales and discounts happening right now. Next up is the iPod Touch, which is so pointless and just doesn't make a lot of sense to still exist. And believe it or not, it was recently updated in 2019, so it's still a fairly new product. But if you're looking for your first phone for your kid or something like that, then the iPhone SE, which we spoke about earlier, is a great option and a great price. Don't buy the iPod Touch. Next up is the Apple TV 4K, which was last updated in April 2021 at Apple's Spring Loaded event, and the next update won't be for a few years. So this is the Apple TV to get right now if you want one, as it's the latest and greatest. Somehow Apple still sells the Apple TV HD, which isn't worth it at all. As the name would tell you, this thing doesn't even do 4K, so just go for the Apple TV 4K, spend that extra money because that is the latest and greatest, and it will be for a while. Next is Apple's AirPods Max, which were released in December 2020, and the next update may not be for a while. So if you're cool spending $550 on the pair of headphones, then these are the ones to get. And that's it. Those are all of the products that you should and shouldn't buy coming off of Apple's busy fall season with a bunch of new product releases. That's been it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.